Hi there, and welcome to this week's Soul Wisdom Show with the Akashic Records. I'm Natasha Harris, and I am interviewing or having a chit chat with my good friend and mentor, Inarra Griffyn, today. So I'm really excited to be talking into the subject of helping visionaries become new earth influencers today with Inarra. It's going to be a really powerful conversation. But for those of you that are new to the group, welcome here to the Soul Inspired Leaders group. If you're watching over on my Facebook page, then hi and welcome. Leave us some comments, ask us some questions. We'd love to have a bit of interaction on the show, as always. But if you're not a member of the Soul Inspired Leaders Facebook group and you'd like some more tips and information and resources, then do come over and join us in the group if that's you. So welcome, Inarra. I'm so happy to have you here on my show this week. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Gosh, well, that's a big opener. I know you very well because we've worked together. I've mentored you for 2 years. And so I've watched you grow as a New Earth influencer. And I would say that, the realm of which I've worked, originally I worked in property, and then I ran yoga festivals and many retreats. And then I ended up becoming a coach in business, but particularly spiritual business. And so one of my companies that still exists, which is called Millionaire Yogi, is very much how we met. It's all to do with this, the frequency of money being very much to do with your authentic self. Yeah. And so you can have a spiritual life, and actually the more spiritual you are and the more authentic you are, the more that the money will flow. And I think you've probably experienced that. I've watched you experience that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm now working on, I opened a new business back in the solstice of 2020 to really work with New Earth influencers. And that's because I have a book coming out. I think it's due out on Friday, actually.
Yay. So excited. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited. And that's a little bit of destiny work. There's certain pieces that you do to sort of, like, as a coach, I used to think, how do I define myself? I'm sure everybody has this same thing. Like, how do you define yourself? And I used to try and fit in at some point. Now I don't try and fit in at all. And the little book of influence is really a guided vision. And it's a manifesto for New Earth leaders to help them get themselves out like right now. And we need you. It's like that. Yeah. Urgent. Yeah. So, yeah.
It really is becoming urgent, and we'll definitely talk into that in a second. But, you've been on we've been on this journey together, or you've been joining me on my journey for the last 2 years. And it's just been so incredible working with you and just seeing what, I've been capable of, how I've been able to grow with your guidance and with your support and with your help. And, yes, tapping into that abundance piece and just stepping up and being authentically me rather than hiding away and going, oh, I mustn't talk about the Akashic Records. I mustn't tell everyone that I do all this woo stuff. And now I really, I love it and I own it. And that is really a big part down to you. So, what a journey we've been on in 2 years. So this is just delightful for you to be here and for us to be having an open conversation about that. But so tell us a little bit more about how we can kind of step up into this leadership in the new paradigm.
Well, I think, the patriarchy is a word that we use, and I'm using it just to define a certain aspect of the way that power structures used to be. And that era has ended, and it ended actually on the winter solstice of 2020, officially. According to astronomy and astrology, the stars have moved. And so we are no longer going through the Piscean age, which had a lot to do with this. As humanity, we wanted to understand what it was like as group consciousness to be in control. And that's what it was all about. Yeah. And so we've now entered the Aquarian age. And with that, and because we're in transition right now, we won't see all the fruits that come out of this new golden era, but we're starting to see it. And what happens is, on the cusp of things like that, with great transition, ideas are dropping down all the time. And you will feel that. If you have one of these ideas, you no longer have to be bigger, better, faster, more aggressive, which is the old patriarchal way of being. Guy on top, usually white man on top. And instead, what you've got is a very different power dynamic, which is coming out of divine masculine meets divine feminine, walks hand in hand. And so what is the difference? Well, one of them is open to receiving is one of the most powerful places that you can be now. And I know that you and I have talked a lot about this because you've worked with me on cyclical business.
Yeah.
And there's a very different driver, if you like, to cyclical business. So instead of it being like linear, going up and up and up, accumulation, faster, harder, you know, all of that stuff, and really eating your way over everybody else in order to get
exhausting.
on. Totally exhausting, not very attractive. Personalities that come out of that are, you know, there's something that is really, you know, about that energy for me anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Is this, we're spinning the cycles. They're moving around like this. There will be certain times that you plant, certain times that you harvest, certain times that you step back, like, and get off that A-type personality where you're forcing things. It's actually stepping back is some of the most powerful work you can do. And then into that, there are ideas dropping all the time. And so you may be, let's say in the old structure, it would be who is the most extrovert? Who are the public speakers? They would run with the idea. Now what we've got is this real harmony of some of the biggest disruptors and ideas. People will be from behind the scenes. They'll be leading from behind. They'll be leading from within. They'll be leading movements starting from without or from within, right? Straight in the heart. And it's not this bigger, better, faster approach to anything. In fact, in my own life, I can just say that this has happened. I had a massive insight, you know all about this, that I was guided in my channeling work to step out of doing coaching. There was a way that I was asked to step out. It was quite urgent, actually. It was like, step out, stop doing this. And instead, you need to go behind the scenes to work with New Earth leaders to help them. It's a pretty critical time. So I received that piece of information. It floated in. And then I was faced with one dilemma. The first bit was usual thing, which you think, oh my God, well, I'm doing all of these courses and I need to fulfill on them and I need to complete them and that's my money and that's my income. So if I'm going to let that go, there's a massive piece of trust was the second piece. When I did trust it and started to exit a certain way of being that I'd been for 6 years, I think, prior to that, in early 2019, pre-COVID, I suddenly got flashes of insight. This is Aquarian age, the way it works. High frequency flashes of insight that I should suddenly be working on digital events. I'd always worked in events as an events producer, but suddenly it was like, well, if you know how to do that, then you can teach other people how to do that. You can help them how to get their work out. And now we can see how critical it is. Like it's become, you know, if you didn't get it in lockdown 1 or 2, by lockdown 3, you know,
I get it now.
You know, it's like it's cemented the new earth way of being. And so the urgency is this, that, you know, you're often thinking, oh God, I've got this amazing idea and I really should. Well, instead of doing I really should, now it's like, if you are the one to do it, then step forward. If you are not the one, but you've got a great idea, align with somebody who is the mover and shaker.
And work with somebody.
Yes, it's
collaboration, you know, coming together. And I just love that piece about the trust. You know, it is sometimes we get these really strong messages or guidances to do something and step outside of what we're used to, and really trusting that, you know, that's the path, that's what we need to be doing. And that's something that, you know, is not so easy for a lot of people, but learning to come into that trust and being in that trust.
Yeah, and I can say that what's happened in a very rapid phase for me as well. I so I knew that I love mentoring and I love, helping, if you like.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of background of business wisdom to give, but it was just the courses that were eating up all my time and all the way that I was working. So I allowed myself to go into this deep, spacious inquiry, which is very divine feminine. So go into these places. So I walked a lot in nature during all the lockdowns. I've been walking with deer. It's been amazing. And it feels like my body has needed this, because I've been probably on a build cycle for about 10 years of just like, this thing that's been building. So I drank in the spaciousness. And then all of a sudden, just around the time when I said, okay, finally, I've cleared out the coaching, I got approached by somebody, a man, and I've always said I work with 95% women and a few good men. And that is really my experience in life. But this man who came through is incredible, like a mover, a shaker. He's really, you would love what he does. He's creating communities, building communities of affordable housing, and they have workspaces and community spaces and all of this. Like, he's a visionary, total visionary. And so then again, I was faced with this, okay, well, I've just been, by higher guidance, asked not to do the coaching courses. How am I going to do it? So I felt into it, which I think is a big part right now. Allow yourself the feelings to drink it in. And I said, I'm going to get back to you. When I got back to him, I wrote something that seemed like some kind of New Earth manifesto for myself. I said, I will work with you. I'm an advisor to kings. My archetype is the high priestess. Yeah. And so what kind of king are you? And if that's the case, what will work with you is on mastery. And so he came back and said, that's exactly what I want, like this level. And so I'm working with this being in a very different way. And what came out of that is now I've got a plan that I want to create something which is called the 11 Kings. I want to work with men, specifically these New Earth men, and I want to initiate them into feminine cyclical energy. And that's exactly what he came to me for. He wanted to understand the cycles. So
that's amazing, isn't it? And it's just really like, kind of like, we know we're in changing times. And I love what you said about transition, and we're not, we're not there yet, but we're seeing, the information coming in, and we're seeding things, and we're seeing little things coming up. And that gives me huge hope. But it is really about now, really listening in, and you said feeling into it, about what do we need to do differently now so that we can all contribute and step further. And that was the other thing I heard from you, is like stepping up into the new paradigm so we can change things and do things differently. And I think that's, it's having that faith, that trust, and knowing that, what we want to do is really feeling into that and trusting it and stepping up into it.
Well, I think the piece that you really need to get is, you out there, I'm looking at you.
Looking at you. Run away, everyone. She's looking at you.
We need you. The earth is at a critical time. This is a critical transition time. All those, I'm very moved by animals and the demise of the animal population in the face of what we humans have done is, on some level, it's disgraceful, the way we've treated the earth and the way we've abused the animals. Never mind about so many other things I could go into. But anyway, that one theme for me, the animal stuff, I feel it like I can't ignore it. There's no way I can ignore it. If you have something like that, whatever, be it whatever, right? It could be, education for young girls in Africa, God knows, whatever. Then allow yourself to feel the feelings, because what you'll get present to is the urgency of the earth needing, like, it sends the ideas out. It's like a living organism. And what we're starting to get are people who are responding on that level. And I've mentioned it before, and again, I've forgotten her name, so forgive me, because she's transitioned recently. She was a lawyer who started to create legal rights for the earth as being the same as a human.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And she just transitioned at the end of last year, 2020. Now, people stepping up like that is radical.
Yeah.
It's audacious. In the Aquarian age, that will be possible. And there will be equal rights for animals as well. And I know that. I can feel the urgency of certain things moving forward with this, how we just shut our eyes to it. Like, it's okay for fur farms.
Yeah.
It's like concentration camps for animals. It is unacceptable. So if I just shut my eyes to that, because I'm a little sensitive being, I'm not going to be able to activate anything. And though it may feel upsetting to you, feeling is the key. If you can feel your way forward, you can feel the bad stuff, you can feel the good stuff. That's what's going to be the activation. There will be people who will have solutions for this stuff that, because that's what Aquarius is all about. So it's not about shutting down part of you. It's about, oh God, that's uncomfortable. Oh, and I really don't like the way it feels. So I'm going to feel even more of it. Let me go into that feeling. And sudden solutions will arise in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's just this sense of urgency, and I certainly feel it, and the need to step up comes inevitable. Then the stepping up becomes inevitable, and you and I are so aligned on the environment and the wildlife elements. I totally feel into that. So for those of you that are watching, have you got any comments? Like, ask us some questions. What resonates with you? What doesn't resonate with you? If you're watching the replay, type #replay and ask us questions. Inarra or I will we'll definitely see it, and we will respond. So let us know if you've got what resonates with you around this whole topic. It's so important now, isn't it? More than ever, I feel that we step up into that to create the shift that's coming, because it's coming. It's here. We've gone into that transition phase. There's no stopping it now. It's like either we choose to ride with it, or we choose to try and hold it back and not be part of that movement.
Yeah, well, I feel that this is the time when, we really are. I've said this before, but there's so many prophecies about this time. And the one that really resonates with me is the Hopi Indian prophecy of the rainbow tribe, and who are, when the earth is, when the rivers are poisoned, when the birds are falling from the sky, there will come a tribe of people who are all different colors of the rainbow, but on the inside they're red. And to me, that has always spoken in two levels. One is, yes, we're red blood on the inside, and we're multicolored on the outside. That's really important. But I also feel that it's really speaking like some of the elder indigenous people or spirit souls have chosen to incarnate now. And that tribe is of people who are really, they're incarnated here to help. This is those light workers. We call them many different things, light workers. But, for me, red on the inside it's really like heightened awareness, and have come in as these souls, a little bit like those child souls who are indigos or crystal children. We are here for a reason. And so it's a responsibility now. And you should feel it like in a good way.
Totally.
Like, look at your home. Do you want to see your animals in trapped in a tiny cage, etc., used for their fur? No. I want to see them. There's one right here I'm looking at, a big blob of a very happy cat snoring and dribbling. That's what I want, in this world. Happy animals. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm surprised the cat hasn't made an appearance yet. usually in it, but it's such an important time, isn't it, for that. Somebody's saying on Facebook on the comments that this really resonates with them, feeling into stage and exploring ideas for new grief rituals in my podcast.
So important.
And
the thing is, the previous era of the masculine, think about it in British terms: stiff upper lip, don't cause a fuss, all that stuff about women being vindicated for, and the worst of it, she needs to get laid. That's like a real put down. Like if she's, expressing something, rage is unacceptable. Actually, we need to hold spaces for the rage.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really powerful, isn't it? Just to hold that space for it, not to be consumed by it, buy into it, get drawn into it, just holding that space for.
And to activate it. I mean, there was something that happened. I work with my own coach who is a tantric healer. And she has taught me that some of the things that I do, I'm so polite. I'm trained to be polite. I was a polite lady, trained by English parents. And there are some times, and then I'm really an activist. There's another side of me that's that. But I get confronted in a freeze zone when I don't know what to do with the feelings that are bubbling up. And then I'm trying to do the polite thing. And so she taught me, like, some of the work we've done is outrageous. Like, what would you ask? What would you ask as a princess? What's a princess ask? Well, that's kind of icky to me. I don't want to be a princess. She forced me to start to think, what would you ask if you were in that position? And then what would you ask if you were like a bitch, total bitch? What would you ask? And I found this work really confronting. Yeah. But what it led me to is when somebody has challenged a certain part in that way, that I was just mentioning, sort of negating things, dishonoring me, I've been able to actually allow myself to step up and go, I'm not playing this game at all. Because I've practiced in these silly ways as, what is bitch queen going to do about the universe? What is princess going to ask for? Yeah. I've practiced in a playful way to be able to direct that energy. And she was saying, and that is pure self-love.
Yeah, that's so powerful, isn't it? And it honors all parts of ourselves. We are all of things, and those feelings and whatever comes up for us, honoring it. But where do we want to direct that energy? How do we want to direct that energy out there to create change, to step up and be part of the change? And that's the powerful thing.
Yeah. So I'd be very interested to know which podcast that is and what kind of grieving ceremonies. I do know one grieving ceremony that came to me in a meditation, to dig a hole in the earth and to anoint it with certain sacred waters, oils, whatever, to place crystals in it, and then to place your face down in it and scream into the earth. And wail into the earth. Obviously, this is not a great time of year for Britain. It's very muddy.
It's somewhat muddy.
Somewhat muddy, but I thought, wow, that, if you were covered in a blanket and you dug your hole of grief to be able to honor Mother Earth and to be able to do the wailing in some way. I don't remember when that came to me, but I thought, wow, I must try that sometime.
Yeah, wow. I will connect you two because I know who that is. But I will connect you both, and you can have a chat about that.
We can dig a hole.
Yeah, dig a hole. But, and I've always loved and so enjoyed all your rituals that we've done together, and we've done many of those, mainly in beautiful, high energy locations like Tulum when I've done your retreats, which was absolutely amazing. When we can do that again. But so my goodness, wow, what an interesting conversation. So I hope that those of you that are watching live have really enjoyed it. If it's kind of maybe post some questions, please do ask them. If you're watching the replay, do reach out to Inarra or I, post in the comments, let us know what your questions are. We would be delighted to answer them. Sally, Inarra, tell us a little bit more about your little book of influence, and that it's coming out on Friday.
Okay. Well, it is coming out on Friday. As far as I know, the publisher told me that just, I think, yesterday. So it really is a manifesto for New Earth leaders and influencers. And it really, if you relate to the term visionary, you have a vision, then it would be for you. It's called the Little Book of Influence. It's not the great long book of influence because it's short, and each chapter is meant to be like you read it, you feel it in your bones, and then you're like activated into doing something. And the whole thing was, I feel like I said before, this is a piece of my destiny. It was something I was really meant to do. It's karmic, and it's a piece that I'm meant to offer to the universe for that, But it'll be on Amazon, and it'll be under my Natasha was mentioning my old name because I recently changed my name in a series of rituals, and my name Inarra means shining light, which is what I'm doing, shining light. Yeah. But the book will be on Amazon definitely in February, and it is called The Little Book of Influence, and it's under my name, Inarra Aryane Griffyn. Great. So please read it. I don't even know how much it is. I have no idea, but I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to read it either. But we will pop the link in the comments below as well, so it's really easy for you to find and direct you to go and buy it if this really does resonate with you. Hannah's just commented about her podcast, which is The Finder of Lost Things.
Lovely name.
She'd love to.
Lovely name.
Yeah, Hannah's beautiful. So she's doing some very exciting.
Hannah. Yeah.
So thank you everybody for watching. If you would like to find out a little bit more about me and the Akashic Records and how I work, please do come over to the Soul Inspired Leaders Facebook group. There is lots of resources and information there. Private message me or sign up to my free Akashic reading, mini Akashic reading, where you can find out about your soul power and what you're here to do in the world and how you can step up yourself into doing that. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been a joy, Inarra. I love chatting to you. I could chat to you for hours. We do, in fact, chat for hours at times. But it's just lovely to do this in a really open environment and chat to you publicly.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, and see you all soon. We'll be back here in for the Soul Wisdom Show every Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time. So come and join us and all the other soul inspired leaders in the group. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bye.